Open your book to page 479. Today's lesson will be finding a formula for the sequences. So let's go over on page 479. Let's say if you have like a 3, 7, 11, 15, and dot, 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 dot. And so if you're going to look for the next term, it's pretty easy. You just look for pattern, right? But what happens if you're looking for t of 100? So this is t of 1, this is t2, this is t3, this is t4. Now to find t100, if you don't know the formula, then you have to do one by one. You have to keep going, keep going, keep going. It will take a very long time. Okay? So obviously, if it's going to be like if the n is really big, easier way to do it is to use a formula. Okay? So when the t is kind of low, you can just kind of figure it out. But if the t is really high, it would be impractical to figure out every single one of them. It would take too long, right? So what you want to do is try to find a way to come up with a formula. Okay. So that's going to find the common difference. So this is plus 4. This is plus 4. It's plus 4, right? Now notice over here, when you have 4 numbers, you're going to get 3 differences, right? Or 3 gaps, right? So notice if you have 2 numbers, you get 1 gap, right? So if you have 3 numbers, you get 2 gaps, so 2 spacings in between, right? 2 differences. So if you got 4 numbers, you're going to get 3, right? So if you got 100, you're going to get 99 gaps, right? Okay. So the way to figure out the number is you first use 100 minus 1, right? So whatever the n is, you have to minus 1 to find out the number of gaps, right? Then you have to multiply by how much increase in each one. So each one is 4, right? So you have to times it by 4. So you increase by 4 for each gap, and there are 99 of them because there are 100 terms, so you have to minus 1 to get 99. So this will give you the amount of increase. Okay? But you start with 3, so you have to add what you start out with. So again, you increase by 4 on each gap, and there are 99 of them, so this is the amount of increase. You have to add on to what you start out with. Okay, and so T100 will be equal to that. So you can calculate. So T of 100 equal to 3 plus. Now in this case, quite easy, just going to distribute. Instead of, if you use calculator, it does not matter. But if you don't have a calculator, easy way to do it, just go and make it into 400 minus 4. And so T of 100 will equal to 399. Okay, and that's how you figure it out. So the formula is T of n equal to T1 plus the difference times n minus 1. So n is number of terms, minus 1 will give you number of gaps, and times the increase for each gap, and this will give you the increase. And then you add on to what you start out with, and it will give you the total. Okay? So by understanding this, it would be very easy to remember your formula. Now you have to be flexible. Okay? The n and the 1, these are called a dummy variable. Means you can use anything. So you can use anything. So for example, if you have t of a equal to t of b plus d times, so whatever you have a and b, so this would be a minus b. So in other words, you don't always have to start with t1. You can use any number you want. Okay, so a and b be any number. Okay, so let's say if you use t4, then this would be, let's say t of I'm just picking any numbers. Let's say 50. Okay? And if you use T4 as your reference, then this would be D times 50 minus 4. So basically, you figure out the number of gaps between T50 and T4. That's what you're doing. So whatever the 2 numbers over here, you put it over here. They have to be matching. Okay? They have to be exactly the same. So if you have n and 1, they have to be n and 1. If you have a and b, you have to have a and b. You have 50 and 4, you have 50 and 4. Okay? So this is your generic formula is this one here, okay? But just be aware that n and 1 can be any number as long as you match these 2 numbers with these 2 numbers, okay? Now, notice the formula that I write down here is different from in the book, in the red box. The reason I write this for a reason, because this makes more sense and it's easier to memorize, especially when you're doing the geometric, okay? So the geometry, you're going to do the same thing, right? So So I'm going to write down the formulas. Okay, so on page 480. Okay, so for arithmetic sequence, we have t of n equal to t1 plus d times n minus 1, right? Now for geometric is one operational order higher than arithmetic, right? So it'd be t of n would be equal to t1, okay? Instead of plus, you're going to get multiply, okay? Instead of d, you're going to get r. Instead of multiply, you're going to get exponents. Okay, that's the reason I write it this way, so that we can see the similarity between the two. Okay. Again, be flexible with your n and 1, right? If you use n and 1, you have to use n and 1 up here, right? So whatever you put over here in these two spots, you have to put over here. Okay. So again, so this is for arithmetic sequence, and this is for geometric. And the way that you get this formula is exactly the same step as you did for this one. So what you do is, so when you look at a sequence, right? If there's an arithmetic, you can use a formula or you can use a pattern. If it's geometric, you can use geometric formula or you can use pattern. If it's neither, then you have to use pattern. Okay, look for pattern. So for example, like if you, okay, so let's go to example 3. And look at A. You got 1/2, 2/5, 3/8, 4/11, 5/14. Okay, and you're looking for t of n. So again, you can try see if it's geometric, and if not, then you try different ways, right? So so after you try, you know that this is neither. So when it's neither, what you need to do is, this is t of 1, so this n equal to 1, right? N equal to 2. So it would be a good idea to write down your n. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So t of n, so here's your t of n, right? So t of n. So what you need to do is, this is neither. So again, remember what I said, right? If it's neither, you do each part individually, right? So look on the top. So what's the relationship between the numerator and the n? They're the same, right? So whatever the n is, that would be your numerator. So that's your numerator. Now over here, the bottom is a little bit harder to do, okay? So this one would be basically is, notice that you times it by 3 minus 1 will give you that, times by 3 minus 1, times by 3 minus 1, times 3 minus 1. Okay? So this is a little bit harder to see, but it would be 3n minus 1. That would be the bottom. Okay? Or you can just do it, just go off to the side, do it manually. If you do 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, right? And so if you notice that this is plus 3, so you have to do kind of the top and bottom separately. Plus 3, plus 3. So you know that this is arithmetic on the bottom. Okay? So arithmetic on the bottom. So t of n, just for the bottom part, right? Will be equal to t1 plus d times n minus 1, right? So t of n, again, looking for formula. So n is any number of terms, right? So t1 is 2, common difference is 3, and n is, now you don't put any n in there because remember you're looking for every single term, right? Not just one particular term. So keep it as n. So again, this formula is for any term after that. So it's not a particular term, so don't put the numbers in it. So then you work it out. So t of n equal to 2 plus 3n minus 3. So this will equal to 3n minus 1. And that's what we get, right? So again, you can go by pattern or you can go by formula if it's arithmetic or geometric. Okay? And again, if you have something like this, separate the top and the bottom, do each part individually. Okay? So that's how you get the formula for the one that's neither. Okay, let's go to page 481, talk about arithmetic means. So arithmetic means you put the numbers in between, so it becomes an arithmetic sequence. Okay. So if you are middle, so it is easy if you are middle number. Like let's say if you have a 10, 10 and blank and 22. So this would be the average of the two. So let's say if you are blank and you're looking for the mean means the average. So you add, divide by 2, you get that. Okay, if you are middle number. So if you have the other example, like 10, you have the blank and 3 blanks over here, right? So again, if you're looking for arithmetic mean, you add, then you divide by 2, okay? And so this will give you 16. You add, and then you divide by 2, right? So this will give you 13, okay? And this one, again, you add, and you divide by 2, will give you 19. So that's one way of doing it. Another way to do it is by using the difference, okay? Notice from here, the difference is 12, right? Okay? And over here, this is D, this is D, this is D, this is D, right? So you can see that 4D equal to 12, right? See over here? So 4D equal to 12, so you can see that D equal to 3, right? You can see there are 4D and equal to 12. So each D must be equal to 3. So once you find D equal to 3, you can just add 3, add 3, add 3, add 3. Okay, so it's another way to do it. So that means if you're doing the one does not have a middle number, okay, so that's if you do the one over here. Okay, so in this case, you don't have middle number, so you cannot just average, right? So again, what you do is use a difference. So from here to here is plus 12, right? But how many D's are here right now? There are 3 D's. So that means each D equal to what? So 3D equal to 12. So each D equal to 4. Right? Once you find D equal to 4, this would be 14 and 18 and 22, right? Okay? So you can use the differences to figure out the missing number. Okay, now when you're doing geometric, so geometric mean, so for geometric mean, again, you have to fill in the inside number. So let's start with the easier, 1 blank and 14, right? 16. For arithmetic, you have to add, then you divide by 2, right? For geometric, again, it's one operational order higher, right? So instead of add, you have to multiply. Instead of divide by 2, you have to take the square root. So you multiply, you get 16. Take the square root, you get 4. Okay? So that's how you get that. Okay? Now normally we just go and take the positive number. Okay? When you're taking the mean. Okay? But you can sometimes you also can have a negative number. So it depends on the instruction. So you have to kind of so you kind of have to look at instruction. Okay, sometimes they want you to do both. Okay, but sometimes they only give you one. So in this case, you actually can have plus or minus 4. Okay, so you kind of have to look at instruction. Okay, so now if you go to if you're looking for 3 numbers in between. So again, if you have a middle number, you can just go and multiply, and you take the square root, you get 4. You multiply, you get 4, take the square root, you get 2. Multiply, you get 64, take the square root, you get 8, right? So that's one way of doing it, okay? But if there's a middle term, okay? Now in case there's no, let's say if there's no middle term, okay, I'm just use this another example. Okay, use the same example. So what you do is using the ratio. So from here to here, it's times it by, multiplied by 16, okay? From here, that's R, that's R, that's R, that's R, right? So in this case, R to the 4 power equal to 16. Okay, R to the 4 equal to 16, right? Remember, geometry you have to multiply, right? So you take the 4th root, R equal to 2, okay, or plus or minus 2, okay? But let's go and just focus on the positive, okay? But remember, this actually would be plus or minus 2, right? But let's just focus on the positive. So if r equal to 2, and so if r equal to 2, you just keep multiply by 2, right? Right? And see how it works out. See that? Okay? But if it's negative, then you just go and multiply out, right? Okay? Okay. So let's go and do some examples. Let's do one more example. Okay, so let's go to page 483. Let's say number 18. So you got T2 equal to 4, T4 equal to 36, and you're looking for T1. Okay, so what you do is, first you want to do is try to find R. Okay, for geometric, first you want to do is try to find R of whatever information you're missing. Next thing you want to do is go and try to just, or if it's arithmetic, you want to find D. So you're looking for T1. So first, let's go and write the information. So T1 equal to, again, you can pick any one that is given, right? Let's say use T2. Okay, so write down your formula, and wait, this is geometric. You have to times by R to the, now remember it's 1 and 2, right? So whatever you have, you have to put 1 and a 2, right? And you have to watch the order, right? It's 1 and 2, so it have to be 1 and 2, right? Okay, so let's substitute. So T2 that you know, or you don't know, leave it blank. Okay, so what happens is you just use a formula and see what you have and what you're missing. So whatever you're missing, you go off to the side, use a formula again, and try to find that. So I'm going to use T4 equal to T2 times R to the 4 minus 2. Okay? The reason I use T4 and T2 is because those are given, right? So 36 equal to 4 times R to the 2, divide by 4, divide by 4. So 9 is equal to R squared. So R is equal to plus or minus 3. Okay? So there are two possibilities. So let's go and do each one. Okay? So let's go and do the positive 3. So if it's positive 3, so T1 will equal to 4 over 3. Okay? Now, if it's negative 3, then T1 will equal to negative 4 over 3. Okay? So there are two possibilities, because R can be positive or negative. So just be aware of that. Okay? Because of that. So you can basically use a formula over and over again, keep using it, use the whatever is given to find out what is unknown, and then use that to substitute in here. So that's what you need to do with all these problems. Okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and do some practice.